Khany. All right, let me add Khany to the stream. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, Mufti. How are
It's all
you?
right. I'm good. Where are you joining us from, Khany? Again,
I'm
remind
from
us.
Bradford.
Bradford. Wow, mashallah. I gotta say, I'm loving the style of the beard. Is that like a samurai ponytail at the back? Did
Oh,
I catch it? Oh, I like it. I like it. I do like it,
done that for a
mashallah.
while.
That's epic, man.
Turned into a bit
So,
of a.
how are you keeping? Share some thoughts with us. What's on your mind, Khanji?
Alhamdulillah. I mean, let's not go what's on my mind, but let's go with the topic that you're talking about, inshallah.
Sure, man. Sure. Talk
Um,
to me, man. Well, it's these things. It's the same thing, man. You're from Bradford. You know what's going on. You know, it does kind of it hurts to kind of see it. Yeah.
it does, and it's painful to see as well. There's a lack, there's a big lack of community, even though a place like Bradford, which is heaving with community,
Mm.
um, influence, masajid on every corner. But you see, the help's not there. The frustration you can see inside the youth's eyes, they just don't know how to
Yeah.
um, talk about it, air their concerns. They just want to do something about the world, but they just don't know what to do. So they just sit
Yeah.
about um, just bubbling.
Yeah. It's true, man. And what what do you think is the? I mean, what are obviously the money is an allure, and then it's like the flashy. You know, the videos bring the kind of uh, they obviously make it look very appealing and glamorous. That this kind of the whole drug dealing and that kind of the whole gang. I mean, actually, the gang thing. I don't even know what the appealing thing is with that. The kind of postcode stuff. This is just
There
absolute.
is, yeah,
Is there a glamour to that?
there is glamour, but it's not what it seems like. There's an illusion of glamour. It's not
Okay.
actual glamour. There's something there which we really kind of admire. This bravado, this sort of bravery, this kind of, I don't know, you can call it balls if you
Yeah.
they got.
No, there is because we always admire courage and
Yes,
strength,
courage.
but
Courage is, yeah.
yeah, but we
But
need
this is a
something to
false
fight
courage.
for, not a
Yes,
postcode.
exactly. They don't have,
Like,
unfortunately,
what the hell is
it's
a
toxic.
postcode?
Yeah,
What the hell is
exactly.
that? Like a Royal
Yeah.
Mail? I mean, what is
Yeah,
it?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
piss on this line right here, and you're not gonna cross it, and all that kind of.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't make
It's,
any. It's like that. You see, this is what I'm saying. That when I said, look, all these communities, look, whether it's going to be obviously our own Pakistani community, whether it's Indian, Bengali, whether you've got the Somali, the Arab, you know what? Look, we have something as it is in essence. We have our cultures. It is ummatun wahida in a sense. We have this whole thread between us. People have talent. You see, like talent, but and they have this will as well. They want to, like you said, they want to do
absolutely.
something. They want
They've got fire. It's a
yeah,
fire.
fire
Yeah,
exactly. But where do we what do we set ablaze though?
yeah. This
कहाँ
is.
आग लगाएं यार? Where should we? This is the problem. And yeah,
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's like I says, lack of guidance. It's lack of social sort of involvement. I blame myself first of all, but I mean you can't blame the parents as well in a
no,
sense.
I'm not.
But
Yeah, I
there's
think it's
like
not.
a
It's
there's
like
like a
there's a web.
cultural sort of baggage
Yeah,
that they're
there's a
carrying with them, but they don't know what to do with it. It's like, yeah, they're aware of it. There's a conscious awareness of
yeah.
this sort of toxic cultural baggage, but they
Tell
don't know
me,
how to just shred it, how to get
if
rid of it.
in schools, let's say in schools, in colleges, they started to teach kids to be more kind of business savvy, like to set up businesses, to do stuff, to you know, obviously that's not how education is geared, because it's not interested in education. Is trying to make you for the work industry. It's not trying to make you into an entrepreneur or make you into, but if it did, maybe something like that would give people a direction. I remember reading once that Elon Musk, he'd said that he said that drug dealers have a much better idea of how to run a business than maybe 95% of university professors.
Absolutely.
Like they would know how, obviously, because they would know how to run a business, and a professor is like, what the hell
they
do
can
I do?
take risks.
Yeah, they can take risks, but even it's not even they have the risk thing. Absolutely, you need that enterprising. But even like how to do, you know what? I'll get one person to do this.
That's
Like
right.
they get these runners to do this. They get this. They organize. They manage. They try and watch out for the police. They try to, you know, there's like a whole career that there's a whole life in that the whole world in that
This
little
is
life.
Mufti. Unfortunately, this is what adds to our despair. You see, because our generation have let down this group of youth, and I honestly, I really kind of we can't shed that off because we are responsible. My school teachers were absolute pillars. They sacrificed the amount of crap they took from us. I mean, in our area, we had something like just the majority of schools were just packed full of just Asians, to be honest, just um, the subcontinent. So when watching this kind of Christian type of belief with this curriculum and this kind of they had these assemblies, they had this love kind of thing. They had, you know, everyone was welcome. I mean, I keep talking about this, but we grew up in a school where, you know, black, white, Asian, mixed, everything was just so a perfect just mixture. And because you're in nursery and you're young and you kind of have that innocence about you, you see each other as brothers and sisters. Now, I don't know where we lost track of that or what happened to them teachers or whether, you know, who gave up on
As I
us
said,
or what.
good, you know,
But
to
it's
add
when
to that.
someone gives up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, to add to that, Khanji, I was going to say that there's, I remember like years ago, I used to teach in secondary schools, and I remember having a discussion as well with, he was an English teacher, great guy, white lad. I mean, quite old, senior. I mean, he was retiring one of those years, so you can see he'd spent like 30 plus years in the entire teaching profession, and he was telling me that, because we were speaking about primary school, like when I was in primary school and stuff like this. And he was highlighting to me that, you know, back then, he said that teaching in the, like, so for example, in the 80s and maybe like early 90s, but he said like in that era, especially the 80s going into the early 90s, he said that the teaching profession was a middle class profession. So the people that went into it were from these kind of middle class backgrounds that want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And they're doing it more for the passion. And they're already kind of from okay, stable, you know, reasonably, you know, maybe not like really wealthy, but at least okay to do kind of backgrounds.
Yeah.
What happens is after that, he said, like, especially towards the late 90s, moving forward, this just becomes like a general working class profession. Like they just need teachers. So people are coming in and they're churning them out. Like they're coming in, and usually I think the kind of the kind of expiration of a teacher's career is usually was, I don't know, when I left it, it's almost been about 10 years now. But at that point, it was something like within 5 years, a teacher would leave. So that's like the kind of turnaround. So you've got people coming in, going out, and obviously other factors are changing as well. I do accept that there's more, you know, inner city schools, the way they kind of, you know, kind of developing and stuff. But I think, but that must have had some impact. That there's a difference between when somebody wants to do something because you believe in it, and between I've got to do this for just to make this money. And then the bureaucracy is so mad as well that you got to tick this box. Have they made this curriculum? Have they done this thing? You know, it's like teaching is partially a nightmare. Yeah,
isn't this that institutionalization sort of
it
debate
is.
again, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You're right, 100%. Yeah, I remember when we were kids. Like, you see, some of my fondest memories of anything to do with education were just primary school. And when I think back, we used to just be doing things like they used to tell us stories, we used to play games, we used to learn as well, like read and stuff. But it was so kind of smooth and kind of spaced out. And now they do all this stuff. They do like so much and testing and like it's like they've got to make sure assess each term, each half term, each yeah,
Yeah,
madness.
it's becoming a lot robotic in a sense. But I mean, I'm not involved in the teaching sort of game, so I don't really know what's going on there. But I see what's on the streets, and I see it in their eyes, and I just don't know. It's like there's like an anguish there inside. That what is it that I or anyone else, or like what can we do about
Yeah.
looking at this
What do you
person and
think of this? Somebody mentioned it here as well. What do you think of this whole what do you make of this whole drill music? Do you think that contributes to kind of glorifies this kind of culture thing, or what do you think of that?
I've lost sound for some reason. I
Oh,
don't know
right.
what.
Sorry. I said, no, I can hear you. Can you hear me now? Oh, we've lost Khan G right there. Just gone out. Must have been his internet connection. I'll share the link nevertheless. Um, yeah. Yeah, I do. I agree. I want to get other people's thought on it as well. I don't like this whole drill music scene, and it's very right. We've got Khan Saab is back. Let me just add him. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right. So, all right. Did a quick wardrobe there. I like it.
That's it. Yeah, I had my top there, so I just thought I'd
Yeah.
stick it
So,
on there.
so yeah, somebody had asked a question here that here it is that look at the origin of drill music. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, on drill music?
Not really into drill music. All
Yeah.
I know is hip hop and
No, I
R&B.
meant, do you think it contributes to this culture?
No, I mean it's poetry and rap. I mean you can tell
Mm,
which drill bars are toxic bars and which drill bars
okay.
are, what makes
Okay,
sense,
that's
what's
this
poetry.
is why I wanted this is why I want to ask someone because I don't really listen to it.
Yeah,
So my argument, or even my kind of view of it is, for the most part, from a position of ignorance, because I've just seen some clips come up like on YouTube or come up on Instagram, and I don't really like the whole kind of culture that they're kind of showing, the whole pop pop, and they're doing all this kind of,
yeah.
and it's glorifying that kind of this is what but that might just be some clips that I've only seen, and maybe a bulk of it is actually not like that. So
A
yeah,
lot of
this
it
is
is,
what
but I think it's done in ignorance. It's just done in
I
as
want.
like because it rhymes kind of thing, because it looks
Mm.
cool. Ooh, I'll say this, will I get away with it? It's just trying to show um what can I say? Just
That kind of macho
more,
bravado.
yeah, macho bravado
It's just
thing.
basically like rapping, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
I mean, you can tell with some of these lyrics that debase women and absolutely
yeah,
just totally throw them in the gutter. That you can tell some of these bars are just well,
because if it's just centered fixated on this kind of gang killing culture, my it's not, to me, you see, the question is, if it's what I'm just weary of is, young people, like, they make, like all of us, we make our world within our head. And if their world just gets trapped within, this is how the world is, like everybody's just killing
exactly,
each
yeah,
other and everybody's fighting over postcodes and it's not. But if that becomes their world, then it's difficult to escape it. And they need to, and I think part of this as well is maybe branching out into, like, it's difficult, but let's say if parents can, with environment as well, because I think the environment, like, if you give, because children and young people, they learn firstly, and this was, Vygotsky was a famous kind of educationalist that who highlights this, that they learn primarily from their peers, not from adults. So people used to think that children learn from adults. They do learn a certain amount from adults, but they actually learn and they take much more from their peers, and he called this the ZPD, the zone of proximal difference. So because they are closer to them, they accept it from them. So they're the same age, and they look. So if a parent can, let's say, get his children, like maybe take them to certain other, like whilst they're growing up, like let's say he makes them participate in certain social kind of clubs, do something maybe in a different community as well, different area, neighborhood as well, different things, get them just going. Like maybe there's maybe there's like this kind of Muslim, like people used to have I don't know if it's still running, a Muslim Boy Scout and a Muslim Girl Scout.
Oh, absolutely. I pushed for this. I pushed for this back in the days. Yeah, I was really involved with sort of youth work and trying to get this this youth center was closing down, and they wanted to, the mosque next door wanted to buy it, and they were selling it for like 200,000. So they were like rushing everyone to buy, and we had already had like £1 million project going on for building the masajid. But the thing was that they were so desperate to buy it that they didn't really consider that it had to close because the funding was finished. So they wanted to close the place. Now, everyone walks around with some fikr, and I really believe this, that whatever you worry and concern yourself about, and if it's a good intention, Allah will come and bring people in your path to sort of
absolutely. And I think just today I was speaking to Imran from Bearded Bros, and he was just speaking about the food bank. I had no idea, by the way, how large his food, I think it's called Salma Food Bank. And now there was something I just thought, wow, because he said it and it really hit me. He was speaking about how people volunteer, and most of the volunteers are non-Muslim, and they've got like, I think, over 700 volunteers throughout the country. But there was something which I really liked, and I thought I want to do this with my daughters, is he said that what they do is, if you volunteer, and you could volunteer as little or as much as you like, he said, like, you have to, I don't know the logistics of how you collect the food or whatever, but when they tell you that such and such person is in need and you can go give it, that you could take your child with you. Like, not in a disparaging way, not to kind of like, but obviously you're taking some actual food to give to, which appears normal people, and your child kind of partakes in this, because it really, even if it's like a one-off, like even if a person is doing this, like once every 2 months, once every 3 months, still, even then, it's something the child will grow up with. Like it's a real world. And it's massive. I heard this and I was like, wow, you know what? Wallahi, I was like, in my heart, I was thinking straight away, you know what? I want to definitely try to, at least, even if it's, it doesn't matter if I'm busy, but something with, just take my daughters to kind of along, to just be a part of the experience of the human kind of collective and compassion, giving and helping. Yeah.
But then again, deep sighs, like, what's that saying? It takes a whole village to, what do they say about raising sort of, it takes
to raise someone. Yeah.
In a good kind of environment. It takes a whole, I've seen aspects of that. I used to see that when I was younger, that there was community spirit, there was all this sort of thing, but it really shakes me to my core when I see that's missing today. And then it kind of brings me down a few levels, because I feel as though our generation, I'm talking about myself specifically, that we haven't done enough. Like, we haven't been there for, like when we were growing up, there was uncles and, they had like, things going on. We'd look up to them, and some good, some bad, but you kind of learned the lesson of each one. And then, but today, who do they have? Yeah. Who do they have today?
May Allah make it easy, man. Well, that's, you know what, Khan Saab, it's been
epic, man. I don't know why I came on. I was just,
you know what, I'm glad you did. I'm glad, may Allah give you shifa, Ameen. And even better strength and vigor than you had before, Ameen. So, but I appreciate it, man. Take care. Get well soon
Jazakallah khair.
and stay
Take
in
care,
touch, man.
inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. People, that was Khan from Bradford. Really some heartfelt discussion there, and a lot of sincere kind of compassion being felt. And yeah, it was the right frequency, and I'm really glad he came on, because I was I was in that kind of state of mind, and it was good to bounce those thoughts. Right, we've got